Hello
Hello and welcome
to
Phantom
Power
Hour.
I'm
Josh.
and
I'm
Jeremy
Wow, it works.
and Yuri,
And Yuri. Cute little Yuri.
the Mohawk pup.
Welcome back. It's been 1 week since you looked at me.
10 minutes for us.
Well, you don't tell them that. They don't know.
Sure.
We just have the exact same outfit and haven't moved. We've been stationary here for 7 days.
Can I start with a couple hot topics?
Hit me with your hot topics. Are we talking about like the clothing
Yeah,
store?
the store. Where else do you get your band tees? No.
Yeah.
So DIY bands. Your computer. There you go. DIY bands. Let me lean in for this one.
He's getting real.
She's just going to town back there on a toy, so whatever. We're just gonna
I doubt they'll be able to hear it.
ignore it. She's cute. So bands, one, do you need a studio? What's the point in going to a studio in 2025, the year of our Lord, versus recording yourself? Because interfaces are cheap, and we've proved that there's a difference, but very little difference between a $250,000 setup and a sub $2,000 setup in a video on my channel. So what's the point? Other side of this coin, paying to play for shows when a venue charges you to play, is that a good thing? Is it a bad thing? I mainly see people want to like burn the building down when that happens. Hot takes, it's probably not as bad as you think.
Ooh, spicy. If this were one of your videos, that's where the intro stinger would go. Yeah, probably some heavy like electronic music. This one would not be one that has a lo-fi beat. It would be a heavy electronic one. Yeah, let's start with the studios.
Okay. I, as a studio owner, will take the opposite side. How about that? And you as a band.
Okay. So as a band, and this kind of works out well because different projects I'm a part of, we work differently.
Yeah.
Right. So, with the Joshua Powell / Skeleton Party stuff,
Yuri,
we do everything for the most part in-house. Granted, on your channel, we did a couple songs. So they were obviously done here, but pretty much everything else is recorded and produced in our home studio, which is DIY, but it's not like intro level DIY, and it's not super high caliber DIY. We don't have a bunch of outboard gear. However, we do have a room dedicated to drums. We have some really nice microphones.
Mostly Loudon stuff, right?
Well, no, not in the recording room.
Oh.
Yeah, the Loudon stuff is purely for our studio. Our mobile setup.
Really? What do you guys have in the studio?
Oh, I don't remember off the top of my head. A lot of stereotypical stuff. I don't remember what he has for overheads. But you got like the 91 on the kick in. We have a sub kick, and then kick out is...
I never liked the sub kick.
I don't love it. There's a handful of sources, so we don't mix ourselves, right?
Yeah.
I do like preemptive demo style mixing. I don't go super hard in the paint and try to make it release ready, but this is more, we all work better the closer it sounds to a finished product in the moment. We work better with having other ideas and stuff like that. So the point of all this is we do almost everything in-house for that, and then we send it off to get mixed, and then sometimes there's some back and forth if they need different sources and all that. And it wasn't always that way. For the previous project, we didn't have the room set up for drums or the IO set up for all that, so everything except for final drums were done at home, and then final drums would be done in the studio and stuff. So from this perspective, we have pooled together our resources, both in terms of knowledge and past education and experience, and in some avenues, financial resources as well, to kind of make it all happen. And we can do it. And we like that mode. And that lets us not have to fork money over to get studio days while we're still in this like production process. And the writing is done. But then when you actually get it into the DAW and you're listening back and you're thinking of like, what sparkle effects, where do these risers go? How do we accentuate this guitar line with another synth, that kind of thing? Then different ideas can kind of spin off of that. And it provides us this freedom to spend as much time as we want to on those things in an environment where it still sounds pretty good without having to get multiple days at a studio for a song, if that makes a lot of sense. So I don't know if that is necessarily a solid argument for the DIY side, but that's just like personal experience with one of my projects, DIY side.
See, I was hoping we would argue the opposite sides of it. Like you would tell me why it'd be more beneficial to go to a studio, and me as a studio owner would tell you why you shouldn't.
I thought you said I was the band side. Bands want to save money, not spend money.
No, as an opposite side.
What I meant to say, gang, is yeah, DIY is dumb. Don't do it. Go to a studio. It's better. Dang it. We're not even 20 minutes in and I already messed this up.
You're fine. So, I mean, maybe from my perspective, I'll say why you shouldn't. You have very specific ideas about how things should go and how they should sound. You don't necessarily care about experimenting. You don't care about trying different things. You already know exactly what you want, down to tones, how you want it mic'd. You're okay with like smaller rooms and all that fun stuff. Like those would be all reasons you could do this at home cheap, right? Now there still is a whole like rabbit hole you got to go down as far as even in those situations buying the right gear to accentuate it the best that it can be done in whatever environment you're in.
Yeah. And some of those options will vary stylistically too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And sometimes even that limitation like breeds even more creativity. The hard part then becomes, I guess the flip side of this, how creative can you be while also being very technically minded? Yeah. And like you guys have done it in a way where it's been like very organic the whole time. Like you've done a little bit of this, a little bit of that, a little bit of this, a little bit of that. And now it's not a big deal for you to do all of it.
And it's for sure evolved too, out of necessity, because we first started our foray into this when the pandemic hit and we couldn't just go to a studio.
Yeah. Well, that's very valid. Well, and there's also, because I've seen bands who want to just do it all themselves, don't necessarily have like the slow growth skills that come with figuring little pieces out, like learning that kind of world. And then there's a fair bit of like, once you get one DAW, you kind of get all of them.
Yeah, for the most part.
Unless it's FL, which we just talked about earlier.
Or maybe Cubase. You'll report back to us on that.
By the way, yes, we are already roadblock number 1, but we're going to figure it out. So,
oh, really?
But I've seen those bands purchase everything they need to do it at home and then still end up with crap. Like,
yeah.
And because the part that's hard to quantify is that, okay, while you're worrying about all these other things that you're not used to worrying about, and if you're not nerdy minded enough to be like, I want to understand gain staging. Yeah. Like I want to understand what makes my instrument sound good on its own without a mic, and not just think that I just bought this $3,000 mixer and it's got preamps in it, so we're going to sound great. And I bought this plug-in bundle. So
I think you hit on a really important topic or aspect of all this. You need a minimum of one person that likes to know the why.
Yeah.
And
Or the what if.
Or the what if, for sure. And I think that you really need more than one person, depending on the size of the group and depending on like those first of all, if you don't have good group dynamics interpersonally,
this is gonna be bad.
It's gonna be bad either way, but at least in a studio it feels like you're in a more professional setting and people are going to be more likely to be on good behavior and to stay on task.
Well, and there's a non-involved third party calling the shots, right?
Yeah.
I mean, calling the shots, but
they can step in and be like boss mode if they have to.
Like I can't tell you the amount of time I've been in situations with bands that are contentious among each other, but I can come in and be like, "Hey, you didn't quite play that part right."
Yeah, but if it was the guitar player saying that to the drummer,
oh, it'd be a fist fight.
Yeah.
Like, and I've seen it.
Yeah.
So it's like in those moments, you're kind of the arbiter of performance in that aspect. Where if your bass player doesn't want to hear it from your guitar player, you're not going to get a whole lot done.
Yeah.
Or the simple arguments of like once things are under microphones, you start hearing exactly what somebody's playing. How many conversations happen between guitar players and bass players, or bass players and drummers, that, that wasn't the pattern. I've always played it like this. Well, I've always played it like this.
Yeah, but now you're in a position where you can actually hear what the other one is doing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I think one thing that helps a point of why you should go to a studio, to tack it onto those ideas, are in the studio context, you have this opportunity to like, whether it's placebo or not, it feels easier to be content with the sound quality.
Because somebody else is worrying about it.
Yeah, somebody else is worrying about it. You walk in, and not all studios are the same. You're not always going to walk into a space and feel like, oh yeah, this is going to be a good day. We're going to get good sounds. However, more likely that will happen if you're paying for studio time.
Now, curious question from your perspective, because you've been to a lot of studios. Like, how quick can you analyze that situation? Or what are the giveaways on those situations?
I think that I have the blessing and the curse of being a bass player. So, what I mean by that is I can walk into a studio and I can see the bass set up, and they've got their like SVT refrigerator, Ampeg amp, and then a red DI plugged into it. And I'm like, I know the sound I want to get. And if it's a session that sound works for, then it's going to be like, cool, it's going to sound good. I've got a lot of places use power plays, or what's the other one that churches used a lot?
Avioms.
Yeah. A lot of places that I've been to use either Avioms or power plays. And so I can handle my own mix at my station. I am familiar with the gear at my station, so I can navigate the type of tone that I want or need for that session. And if I'm just looking at that, I'm probably going to be in a good spot. If I walk into a place and it's bring your own rig and they do DI and maybe a mic on it, that's also okay, because I know my own rig.
Do you ever call the shots on a microphone as a bass player?
I have sometimes called the shot on using a microphone and not only using the direct out. In which case, the only time I've really had to do that was long before we actually were doing the podcast and everything. So I didn't know nearly as much about microphones, and it was just more of a, can we also get, like, if you have the channels, can we just throw a mic up, and if it sounds good, we use it, and if not, at least we have it. But I've never called the shots on a microphone for a cab itself. No.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's interesting you described the SVT and the red, because that's exactly what we have set up here.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it is a workhorse for a reason. Both of those units are. And then I don't know, where the contention comes sometimes for me personally, and feeling is if I'm like content with the setup or not. I'm pretty easygoing. I'm going to be content with a lot of things.
Yeah.
But it's really like what's the vibe like with the engineer? Like, are they there just to do their job, which is okay? Are they there to be a part of the project, which I personally prefer, but I know some people don't want that at all?
Mm-hmm.
Or are they there just like, I know how to turn, I know the password for this computer, so I'm gonna turn on the computer, and that's why I'm there. In that context, that throws my personal, like, I'm not jiving with it. You know what I mean?
Huh.
Like, if you're there, if you're just going to sit in the room and make sure meters are just moving, and that's kind of all you're doing, I think, and that doesn't happen a lot, to be fair, in my experience, but it can happen, and it has happened, and that just doesn't feel good.
That's interesting. I can't imagine going into a space and not getting feedback from the person behind the booth.
I don't like when that doesn't happen.
Well, for a myriad of reasons. I mean, one, excuse me, you don't know the room typically. If you're going somewhere, I mean, maybe you've been to a place before,
Mm-hmm.
but even you, as many times as you've been here,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, maybe now you can do it, but it's not like you're here every day.
Right.
So even trusting the speakers in that room, you're not used to the rooms. How do you know what's going to translate? So it's like leaning on whoever's running the show. Like, how does this sound to you? You know how this room translates. Give me some feedback.
Yeah. And I do that with every studio I go to, every live show I play. If I have the opportunity to actually talk to the mixing engineer at a live show too, I'll ask those questions, because on one hand, again, blessing and curse, it's bass 90% of the time.
It's DI.
It's 90% of the time it's DI, or if it's a live show, I don't care what it sounds like. I'm going to chop the top off and boost the low anyway.
Yeah.
In the studio, you're in cans, which never translate anything, no matter how nice the cans are. For bass, it's not going to translate the same way as feeling the air move in the room. Personally, I think.
I wish there was a better way to do that for bass players.
I bet if you got one of like the ass kicker things, or I think the same company makes a platform that you can stand on, and there's no sound, but it vibrates and replicates as if you were on a stage with the amp behind you.
Oh.
I used one of those at NAMM years ago, like 7 or 8 years ago.
Yeah.
And they're cool. I don't know how. I would have to try it in a few contexts to say, like, this is great. But all of that to say is, as the bass player, most of the time, even sometimes in the studio, no one really cares about your tone, unless it's a really specific type of song or genre, or it's a bass driven type of arrangement. I normally will get it's fine.
Have you seen like fellow bandmates like come to that realization? Because drummers, I feel like you can get good bass tones just about anywhere. You can get good guitar tones almost anywhere. Drum tones are the giveaway.
Drum tones are the tough part. Yeah. What's interesting to me is, I think that a majority of drummers don't have the opportunity to listen back to their recorded drum set in a good environment very often. A guitar player nowadays, especially, you can just plug in and do a modeler, and that is a finished sound that's on a lot of albums.
Yeah.
And one step away from that, you can get a 57 and put your amp in a closet and mic it up, and you will hear a professional level final product potentially.
Yeah.
Like, you can put nicer mics on the cab, you can do whatever, but how many like heavy hitting albums in almost any genre have just a 57 on your cab, right? Drums, though, what are you supposed to do? Like, spend thousands of dollars to get all the pieces of hardware to hear your finalized drums?
Which, that point right there is kind of a big reason I think a lot of drummers suck.
It is hard to find a good studio drummer,
because just that feedback of not being in a studio, or playing live shows where the sound sucks anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Or playing a live show where your only option is to hit as hard as you can because they didn't mic overheads and you want people to hear your hi-hat.
Yes. Okay. Then that whole idea of a drummer mixing themselves is kind of lost anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And when you have somebody who's really good at it, it's like, oh my God, give me your number.
Come back every time.
Yeah. there are, like, if you want to do this at home, I don't think it's hard. All you need is like probably the most humble interface you can and just set up two things. Either a kick mic and an overhead, or like a crotch mic and an overhead. And like just doing that you will start mixing yourself and you'll figure out how hard you can hit your drums
and you can use 57s for both of those.
Yeah, you can. And I think so many drummers who do play, who even end up coming here sometimes, they wholly don't understand that, yes, this kit that I'm playing at now can sound like a record.
Yeah.
That's like, they're like, well, what samples are we going to lay on? Like, none, hopefully.
I think that for drummers specifically, there's multiple layers that put them at a deficit just as a whole. You're never really required to tune your instrument. It makes it better, but you can't play bass or guitar and not tune.
Yeah.
Because then you can't play.
Yeah.
You can't play piano and never tune.
Yeah.
Because eventually it's going to be out if you're playing like a real deal upright or something. But drums,
or a vintage synth.
Yeah, or synth, yeah. If you have a drum head and you have a wooden stick, you can play your drums.
Yeah.
And this is, from my personal experience, this is most notorious in like gospel church setting, where it's like you got the church kit, it is busted. But cats come in and they play more technical stuff than I would ever see anybody in the studio play or anywhere else, and like blow your mind. Nothing on the kit is tuned. So if they were to come in and do the same performance,
well, I mean, some of the good gospel players, like, they will sit down and like tune the best they can. That's the whole
true.
The whole
That's
thing
true.
about getting like the best out of an instrument that you can. And like a good player will make a busted anything sound great
100%.
because that is the nature of the player. And to the point, the gospel player is most of the time mixing themselves.
A lot of times you have to.
Yeah. And that's why, like, they know how to hit that snare exactly the right way. They're so tuned into like, okay, I want this sound, so I'm gonna do however I can to get that sound. And even if the snare's busted, I'll adjust my playing. So like when they come in here and they hear it, they're like, then you can really start to tweak things. And like, I don't think I've ever used a sample on a killer gospel drummer.
That's fair. Yeah.
Because it's so much about feel, and metal players can be the same way, but so many of them are like, and there's nothing wrong with the sample discussion. Like, it's kind of a, what do you want out of it? If you're coming to a studio and do you want to create this sonic soundscape, or do you just want to recreate something you've already heard with your own chord progressions?
Yeah. And some people, I don't really care either way. They're coming to the studio because they want that uninvolved third party to get them across the finish line, to have this like kind of oversight, this managerial oversight on the band and the sound,
and the money.
And they just we want a as polished as possible final product to hopefully get us into higher like echelons of playing, higher rankings, to get our music out there that people will actually listen to.
And I think the money thing's big too, because that stresses people out. And I mean, you're gonna spend money if you're doing this at home, or if you're coming to a place.
Yep. You know where you won't spend money? You've got a cousin, Steve, who has a roommate who has a studio, and then the studio is the Focusrite, and he's got one mic.
But the studio thing, it can be interesting for those reasons, and you can kind of have an uphill battle because the affordable side of this has made it so approachable for anybody, but at the same time, the end result kind of shows its hand early in that so many people start leaning on like Superior Drummer or Get Good Drums Modern and Massive or just throwing samples at it. So they never, it's not that they never learn how to play well. It's like they never realize that getting record ready tones is possible with their own hands.
Yeah. Well, and I think that there are other aspects of, losing the art of dynamics, whether that's an overuse of triggers or a lot of cats that just record on an E-kit because they want all the triggers anyway, which I feel like is a lot less common now, but there was a span of time where that was like, that's what you did, especially in the metal scene.
Well, was it the first Animals as Leader record? It even had like a quote on it, like no microphones were hurt in the making of this record.
Yeah.
Because all the guitars were Axe effects, all the drums were Superior Drummer. Like they didn't use a single microphone.
Yeah. But all that to say, I think drums have it the hardest. Drummers have it the hardest. And then getting into an actual studio, if you're not experienced as a musician in a studio, no matter what the instrument, when you have the cans on and you have yourself boosted and then everything is laid to bare, like you're a bass player, you hear all your finger noise and fret noise. You're a guitar player, you hear those like sloppy left hand movements and the your pick hits a couple extra strings here or there that you never heard playing live. But then you're a drummer and all of a sudden, I mean, I'm sure you've seen it a bunch. I've seen it a bunch too, but how many drummers do you see in the studio for the first time and then they're like so timid because it's like, oh, I can hear my snare, I can hear my cymbals, and then they stop hitting. And with drums, like so much of the end product is how hard are you digging in,
and that'll make the room breathe. Like I have one guy, we kind of had a back and forth for a while because he brought in this incredible snare drum. It was a nickel over brass. Like it was basically a Black Beauty. It wasn't an actual Black Beauty, but it was unbelievably nice. And then he had another like full brass, just monster snares.
Yeah.
And he would not hit them hard. Like, I don't want to break it. Like, it's solid brass. You're not going to try to break it.
It is literally built to be hit.
Yeah. And once I finally got him to hit hard, because he kept complaining that the snare drum didn't sound like what he wanted it to sound like. So we went back and listening to records, and I'm like, hit it like you're mad at it, like it's hitting on your girlfriend. And so when he finally did, then the room mics start breathing, and like the whole room becomes an instrument.
Yep.
He's like, that's what I wanted. And I'm like, you got to hit it.
And as a player, I just feel like it gets you into that zone when you're actually playing your instrument, when you're not being timid about it. That's you like bass, for example, because that's what I'm most have the most intricate knowledge with. You have to be like incredibly light with your right hand to get certain sounds. You have to control your tone a lot with the right hand, but that doesn't mean I'm playing lightly, so I'm playing timidly. Like I'm playing controlled. I mean, you can think of it like the gym as well. You have people that just like, it's all about just moving the weight instead of controlling the weight. And those are drastically different experiences. And when you're controlling it, you have that mind-body connection. I think that applies to music. When you're controlling the sound and you're playing, you have this different type of like focus mode that you can go into, and that you can like really be playing the music instead of the music is just happening.
It's a heady thing,
yeah,
but I think that is very necessary in the process of most of the music you're going to make at home or the studio. And it's the situations that you get yourself into. Is that possible at home? Of course it is. But does your band dynamic or does your current setup limit you from being able to do that?
Yeah.
In which case, a studio may be the way to go.
And I think that there's a handful of other kind of good reasons to get out of your own space, even if you have your own home studio that you do work in.
Yeah.
For me personally, like even if it's not music related, sometimes you get better work done when you go down the street to a Starbucks instead of sitting at your desk at home.
Mm-hmm.
If you're work from home or something, sometimes you can get new creative energy flowing, new juices up in your noggin going. If you're just in a different space, you're playing the same music, the same songs, but you're in a different room, you're in a different layout. You have different sound in your ears because it's through a different interface that and different plugins and all this kind of stuff. Another issue with doing the DIY thing is this is 110% me. I will go down the rabbit hole and it can be sometimes really cool. Sometimes it's a detriment. It's definitely a detriment if there's just, this happened to us 2 days ago. We were listening back, about to stem out a song and send it off to get mixed. And then I heard something that sounded like a sloppy cut in the drums. So I soloed everything. I zoom in. There's no cut, but I'm still hearing something. Track by track, solo it all out. And it was like one little tiny ghost note on the kick where it sounded like the beater probably just like got laid up against the kick. But it came through just enough for me to hear it. And now it's all I can hear. And so the next 20 minutes was, how can I cut this out, but not have a dead silence that feels like artificial and just like all these different little fades and stuff, and finally got it out. If we were in the studio, one, even if I had heard it, I would think I will trust whoever is mixing this to, take care of that if they hear it. And if they don't hear it, maybe I catch it in the first round of mixes. Most likely I probably wouldn't. But it's those little things that myself, and I'm sure a lot of you guys, you get hyper focused on one little thing and then you waste a bunch of time on it.
Yeah, it kills the creative flow.
Yeah.
It can start, because you can only make a certain amount of good decisions while you're in that headspace. And if it's not easy to do your own stuff to a high level while you're thinking performance and technical.
Yeah.
There are people who could do it and they are machines.
Yeah.
But it's like, is it possible? It's absolutely possible, but neither one of those things is going to be the best work you could do from a production standpoint or a performance standpoint or a technical standpoint. It's like there's only so much resource you have to put in each one of these pots before you start bringing in other people to take care of these pots for you. And you just worry about playing the dang song and playing it well. I think that's the main part that a studio has to offer. Like, somebody else is going to worry about the tones. They probably have way more tools than you. If you have like a set of references, like, hey, here's the sound we're after, like, oh, well, we can do that with these few things off the shelf pretty easily. So right there, half the battle's won because you have the right gear to do the job. And then you have somebody else worrying about technically setting it up, and the only thing you have to do is play. Play your little heart out.
More than likely, that person with the gear also has more hands-on experience with all of that gear in a bunch of different avenues and genres and aspects, so they know the ins and outs of it way deeper than you doing the DIY would have with your own gear, because you just use it on yourself. How much experimentation happens then. And that's not true for everybody. But so we were going to talk about studios, but also dip our toes into the pay to play. So in your mind, how do these two things interact with each other? How do they relate? Do they?
I don't know that they have to relate necessarily. They can be very different things. Just the fact that another decision a band has to make.
That's fair.
And I think it's one of those things like protecting your resource and trusting in your own ability in what you have. So pay to play.
Pay to play.
The negative parts of a pay to play.
Well, let's cover, if you don't know what pay to play is first. How would you?
I think it can look like a bunch of different things.
For sure.
It can look totally different.
My experience in it, I have, to my knowledge, never participated in a pay to play scenario as a payer to be a player. However, I have played shows that were paid to play for some of the other acts that were part of the shows. And what that usually looks like is it's usually a show with a national touring act as the main act, and then Sometimes we're direct support. Sometimes they're touring with direct support. And then there is like 2 or 3 other local bands on the bill.
Mm-hmm.
So
that's where I think it's a little scammy.
Yeah.
That's
go on. Tell us about the scammy nature.
That's because the pay to play that is beneficial and is out there is where you can put yourself in the situation of a promoter, where you're playing the part of the promoter and you're effectively renting the spot. In a situation like that, you kind of have a moment where you're like a put up or shut up. Because if you really believe in what you're doing, you want an opportunity like that.
Yeah.
Because if you pack that place, you get the profit, all of it. You're just renting this spot, and I've seen a lot of bands turn down stuff like that. Well, it's like, well, hold on. What do you want? Do you want to be paid a couple $100 in the venue to take the risk? And I mean, it would be in their best interest not to pay you very much, because one, they don't know you.
They don't know who you're bringing. They don't know how many drinks they're going to sell. They don't know any of that. You don't have a
history there. So like try to like a little bit of empathy in a thought exercise like this goes a very long way in deciding how you interact with those kind of decision makers. Now, if it is like, I want to be number 4 or 5 in a bill with a major act and there is no split, I'm just paying to be there.
And it's usually paying a lot too.
Like how much?
From my recollection, depending on the size of the touring act and the size of the venue, in like the $300 to $400 to $600 ballpark for one band.
That's just that's a venue covering the cost of the headliner. Is what that is.
100%. Yeah,
that's stupid.
I don't.
In that instance, like you should be taking a split of the house.
Yeah, but they're just trying to cover, like you said, the headliner and hopefully make ends meet.
Yeah.
Especially these days. If you take a step down to like maybe like C or D tier of touring artists, so we're not talking about your Selena Gomez and Taylor Swifts, or even like, I would even put like maybe Animals as leaders like a B tier in terms of like size of crowd that would go see them.
Well, and they're so niche.
Exactly.
Like,
so those people are still they're pulling just fine. They're going to be totally okay.
I think Animals. I just looked at this. I think Animals as leaders pulls about $1,600 per show.
Solid.
With an average gross of like $40,000 to $50,000.
Solid. So they're going to be okay. But if you go down another rung or two, and we're still like we're above amateur, or even homegrown professional musician stuff, and we're just a little bit above that. I feel like that's where you have a really volatile market of crowds. Like you could pack out a place, or you could walk in and there's a handful of people. And not to like, I probably won't on camera mention the groups, but I have in fairly recent history, I've done 2 shows that on paper seem like they would have just like packed out given the names of the band that was headlining. Crickets, man.
Average gross of this in this situation, we're using a fictitious band. Okay. You don't know who this is. We can see average tickets sold. We can see average gross, and you can, this is not a advertisement for this.
We haven't even said what it is.
It's Polestar, if you're even curious, but,
that sounds like it would totally be a different website.
It would. POLLSTAR.
That reminds me. I'm sorry. This is a really quick
tangent.
No. Close though. So, do you remember back in the day when creating your own website was like the pinnacle of cool thing that you could do on the internet?
Is this a Squarespace ad?
It is long before Squarespace was a thing, my friend. It could be a fun Squarespace ad though. Squarespace, hit us up. So there was like the GeoCities. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
Where you could make a website. There was another one that was very prominent at that time called Anglesoft. No. Yes. Angelsoft or Anglesoft. This is where the problem comes in.
Angelsoft is toilet paper.
and wasn't soft. It was Angle and or Angel something. I don't remember which one was the correct one. This was a long time ago. Dial up internet days.
Okay.
I was at my grandma's house and just wanted to like have fun making a website. She had better internet than I ever had growing up. And I put the wrong one in because Angle and Angel, you just swap the L and E at the end.
Yeah.
So whichever one I was supposed to type, I did the wrong one. And it loaded up something that was not very child friendly. And I was so confused. And I was all excited, going to show my grandma how, look, I can make a website. And then I put that in, and she's like standing right over my shoulder. And it just,
oh, no.
Yeah. But Polestar, Poll star.
Yeah. Anyway,
I'm here to look out for you guys.
The whole thing basically gives you like box office reports, ticket sales, ticket prices. But in this fictitious act that we're talking about of a show that may or may not have happened, whoever booked that show would have known they sell an average of 170 tickets.
Mm-hmm.
So if this headliner, which is sad because they pull less than the support act.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Which for that show was apparent.
Yeah.
If the show were to have happened.
Well, so average gross for them, total in the door, $4,800.
Mm-hmm.
So if the venue was looking at this, they would pay about half to a little under half of that. So maybe they paid between $1,500 and $1,700 for that band to be there that night. So then if they charged everybody else to pay that talent cost to offset this, which is effectively what they're doing. So in that instance, pay to play, you become the sponsor of the event.
Yeah.
As the freaking opener. And that is scammy as hell.
It is. And that was one of the situations where that was happening.
Yeah. Like in an instance like that, just you as a band knowing what's happening, you are fully within your right to be like, all right, let me split the door.
But I mean, a venue would just say no, especially, at least in my experience from the venues that I know that have done this or do it frequently, they're the types of places where it's like, all right, then you don't play the show and we'll get someone else. And
I think that can only happen as long as bands are uneducated about what's happening.
I think
because once you start to see like all this other stuff, like you inherently know your value, because you could turn around and like form like a different business, like a different LLC.
Mm-hmm.
So instead of the band paying for it, you are now a promoter of a show.
Mm-hmm.
So like, okay, well, instead of the band paying $600, how about our promoter does, and we're going to split the door with you. Like, we're going to sponsor this event. That's a whole different conversation.
That's true. I still don't, the venues that I'm aware of, I don't see them doing that. I
think if you,
and it's the bigger venues that do this that I've seen.
Really?
Yeah. Not the Indianapolis staples that we're familiar with, mm-hmm. but some of the outlier big venues, big-ish venues. And I don't know if it's, and it doesn't happen all for every single show, but I don't know, man. I don't see this happening at dive bars is what I'm trying to say. Like, I see this happening at established venues.
But I guess all this to come back to, instead of being asked to play a show and being like, oh, well, here's how much it cost. Take the idea that, okay, this happens. This is a thing that happens, good or bad. You can approach a venue, be like, we have however much money. We would like to rent the space to put on our own show.
Mm-hmm.
And we will sell tickets. We will do all this stuff. And if you know your overhead is $200 or $300, can you sell enough tickets to book the spot? If not, maybe those other deals aren't so bad for you. And maybe you do need the exposure. Like as bad exposure, as that is to say. But I'm saying, like, those situations can truly work in your benefit if you have a following.
Oh, yeah.
And if you're put your like all these guys who are getting like pissed and upset about this and want to burn the venues down, like put your money where your mouth is.
Mm-hmm.
You can make a lot of money.
Yeah.
A lot.
Well, so the
venue's going to be stoked because they're going to make, they know what they're going to make.
I don't think I can be super specific about it yet, but there is an event that people that I work with are wanting to put together that is put together by a band, and it will just be exactly what you're saying, just renting the space and putting like a mini festival together for just other band friends of similar genres, with the idea of, we like these people, they have a good draw in this area, and this venue is this much to rent. So we're just going to rent it, instead of approach the venue in a traditional way of, what nights do you have live music?
Yeah.
How much can you pay us to come play live music?
And like, that's the type of stuff, like the risk is low in that instance. Because think about the difference here. Like a venue, if you pick up a date that's not booked, chances are you're going to find one, because they're out there. Trust me. If you approach them with even a halfway decent number, like if you might need to negotiate if you need audio or lights or whatever that is, or like load in, load out help. But if you're a fully contained thing and you can run your whole entire show, if you're like, here's $200 for the night, we're going to do everything. Just let us use like kind of your security, all that fun stuff, but we're going to put the show on.
Yeah. And some venues, like, that seems like a crazy low number. For some venues, it would be a low number. But for a lot of venues, what? They don't have anything booked. They don't have to pay for the act. They're going to get money and then sell drinks to whoever shows up.
Yeah, like I don't want any part of your drinks. We're just going to sell tickets.
Yep.
And you can make some money.
Both places can make some money.
If you just put on the business side of the promoter part of this, like, this is what will make you attractive to a record label. If that's your goal.
If you're a band and you're considering doing something like this, or like your ears perk up with it, this idea, then you're also probably a band that has been making friends in your local music community, which means you probably know a mixing engineer that pops around from a few venues that would be more than happy, because A, probably befriended that sound engineer. B, if they're not working that night, they would probably rather make less money than normal, but working with a bunch of their friends that they already know.
Yep.
And they would come do your live audio if that's part of that. Like, the venue doesn't supply any of that. And now you have probably somebody that would get you better sound than if you just showed up to a venue and somebody you have never met is up there. Because this person, at least, you're kind of friends with and knows your sound, and probably the sound of the other bands, if you're all this like local nucleus that's like helping support each other.
So I guess that my only point of this, like, yeah, pay to play on paper sucks, but this is very much something you can use to your benefit. So why does it suck? Think about what you have to bring to the table. Think about, if you really are as good as you think you are, a situation like this where you become the promoter, you have the power. Now you can really stand to make a big splash, and all it's going to take is one time.
Yeah.
And like,
if it's a good time that first time, then that's all you need.
Yeah. And like, venues will see that happen. You will see it happen, and maybe you realize, hey, that wasn't a bad way I was going to pay either way to play a show.
Yeah. And you know what feels better than sending that massive Facebook alert to all of your friends on Facebook saying, hey, I booked a show at this venue. You guys want to come out and buy tickets? Are like $10 and you can come see us, and we're opening for this band or whatever. That's fine and dandy. But you know what would feel better? Hey, I'm putting together this show of all of my favorite bands in town.
Yeah.
And we're all great friends. We're renting out the space. It would really be super supportive if you guys could come out and buy a couple tickets and come have a great time with all these people that I wholeheartedly support. You're going to get more people interested in that. You're going to make a better name for yourself around the town.
Yeah.
All those things.
And you maintain control. Like,
Yeah.
and a venue is going to love that.
Yeah.
Because if you make it easy for them and you're bringing them you're bringing them patrons and you're going to pay them a little bit.
Yeah. What's not to love?
They're going to love it. They're going to freaking love it.
Now, the other side of pay to play, where you are spending a few $100 or whatever the price tag is to be allowed on a bill with a potentially bigger name on the bill.
Weird.
I'm not going to cast shade. Yeah. I don't personally jive with that model, but I know people that it's worked for. It's a gamble. It's
if you do
a
your
huge
research, do your
gamble.
research. Like all of this is like, what's your return on your investment?
Yeah.
And use whatever tool you can. Figure out who that opener is. Like maybe you like them, but the biggest thing about booking a show or how promoters book shows, they're not going to book shows that they want to see. They're going to book the ones that are going to be successful. So
if it's a good promoter.
Yeah, like
there's plenty of promoters that book shows that they want to see.
Yes. Well, and like if I think about myself in like I'll just use Thrice as an example. Like if I could open for Thrice, my God, I would do it.
Mm-hmm.
But if I go in and then look and be like, oh, they only sold like 70 tickets on their last show.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe
I wouldn't pay to open
maybe
for
it's
them.
not worth $800 to open for them because I'm paying their entire artist price.
Right. And so that's where judgment matters. I think understanding that landscape is the biggest thing. I'm not telling anybody not to pay to play a show.
Yeah.
If it's a good opportunity and it makes sense, then do it. I've heard stories of people doing that, and all of a sudden they go from 1,000 monthly listeners on Spotify to 5,000 monthly listeners on Spotify.
If it lines up with your target audience and what you're doing, like think about this like a marketer. If it works out for you to be there in front of that audience and you can put on a good show, like all these things have to work together, then that can only be beneficial for you. Like, what would you rather do? Like, you have this, I don't know, what's a rate you would pay to open for a show? Like $300 or $400?
Yeah, around there.
Let's say 5. So even if it was $500 and that had significant impact on a market you were trying to infiltrate, well, you could still take that $500 and hire somebody to do all your social media. Which one's going to work better for you?
That's fair. There's so many different like variables that are intertwined. First of all, before you ever pay to play a show, I highly recommend get your show together. Like be able to provide a very good show. And there are a lot of aspects to that, and I won't go super deep, but if you are confident that your band, like you got something, you have a great show, you're really tight, and the music that you're doing is notable in some way, shape, or form, that's when you start considering maybe we should take that gamble, or maybe we should invest this money into promoting our stuff. But if you do that pay to play, and not only are getting in front of a specific audience in a market that you're trying to go after, maybe it's the venue. Maybe it is getting a face-to-face with this venue that you've wanted to play, and now this is your opportunity to get there. Because it's not always about the crowd. Sometimes it's about meeting the promoter for that place, the staff for that place, making a good name. That way you get called back, and now you don't have to pay, which... One of the groups I work with that's kind of the scenario. That's why I've played some of these shows where we've never paid to play, but that happens at this venue. It just so happens that they know us. They know that we have good draw. They know that we're on time. We're not rowdy any more so than the average rowdiness level, I suppose. And we're nice. And we know the people. The engineers ask for us back. The promoters ask for us back. So on and so forth.
Because you make if everybody looks good, they're going to ask you back. Like especially the engineer.
Yeah.
Like that goes a very long way.
Huge. Yeah.
Because that person is also there getting paid.
Yep.
And sometimes they're freelancers, sometimes they're house guys, but they work in a bunch of different places. So if there's a show and a good band, you know what can make a bad band sound great? Nothing.
Oh, yeah. I was hoping you had an answer.
But if you have a halfway decent engineer and a great band, man, that engineer looks great.
Mm-hmm.
He looks good.
And the venue looks good.
And the venue looks
good.
The
promoter looks good.
Everybody's in a better, like, this whole thing is like all contingent on put your money where your mouth is. I'm not saying pay to
not
play.
Not literally, money's pretty dirty.
That's, sanitary situations
cocaine on like everything.
People. But if you can start thinking about it from that marketing perspective, like this whole, I think this all came about because I sent a post to you from somebody who was like, I'll never go into this place again because they asked for this much. Like, your band has no fans.
Yeah.
Like, think about it from that perspective. I'm yeah, that sucks. But why should they trust you?
Mm-hmm.
Like, if there's a point you made, like that there's a venue, like it or love it, or like it or hate it, whatever, they do pay to play. But they know your band. Mm-hmm. They know you bring people.
Mm-hmm.
That's it.
Yeah. Now we don't have to pay. Now we get direct support roles. Now we get asked for other shows that aren't necessarily, not every show there is pay to play, just some of them, but we get asked there a lot. And it has become closer to like a home territory, home base for us, even though it's not remotely our home base, you know? But I think that all boils down to, for both of these conversations, DIY, studio, pay to play, not pay to play. It is where,
I feel like these could have been 2 different episodes.
They could have been, but you know, sometimes we gotta pack them full. I like
talking this, like if we could do this again, I feel like, and even go a little deeper into the whole booking side of it.
I think exploring band as a business is an important thing that we could dive really deep in, because no artist wants to hear that. No artist wants to do that type of work. Like, or
even understanding the other side of it. Like, it's a band as a business, but also look at all these other places like a business.
Yeah.
And then how do I make this person's life super easy, and this person's life super easy, and this person's life super easy? And it's not just about, we're the best band ever.
Yeah.
Like, that won't get you very far.
No, there can be some of that, but if you actively make people's lives more difficult, it doesn't matter how good you are.
You won't get asked back.
Nope. And that works in so many different places too.
Yeah, I feel like that's just a theme on the show.
Yeah.
Just be a good hang.
Dang. We haven't said that in a long time, but it's true. Be a good hang. And hang with us for Record Recs.
Now it's time for Record Recs.
A while back, we had Davey Zars. Maybe that's how you pronounce your name, Davey. He recommended a bunch of artists, and we listened to one from his list, Nico Noir, which Jeremy and I both kind of fell in love with when we listened to that.
Indeed.
So pulling up the second one on your list, Davey, is Trinino Low. So let's see what Trinino Low is all about. Really low plays. Nice. Low.
Oh.
Unintentional pun. Oh, hit me with a Rhodes right out of the gate.
This is another like R&B. He's just throwing out all the R&B deep cuts.
I'm okay with that. I'm gonna hop through.
Is this instrumental?
This one is. Oh, it is called Redwood's Intro, so maybe it's just an instrumental intro track.
Okay,
I like all that. Let's see what this next one, The Vision. That's a wacky groove. So we might be more in jazz territory. Yeah.
That sounds great. That was recorded really well.
This is cool.
And those players are killers.
Ooh, whoever's doing drums is nasty. Yeah. Oh man, they're all good. This drummer is off the rails. I love it.
Is this? Oh, buddy, with 2 in a row.
Gosh. Okay, I can't keep going through all of them. That's Trinino Low, and I'm going to give that a subscribe real fast. I will be spinning this album, The Vision, all the way through. It's been a long time since I have actively listened through an instrumental album, and I think it's about time that I do that again. You pulled up his bio?
Yep.
So he's trumpet player?
Yep.
That makes sense. Does it say where he's based out of?
Born and raised in Detroit, Michigan.
Heck
Proud graduate of
Midwest boy.
Detroit School of Arts.
Heck yeah.
You're not far from here, dude. You want to come record some jazz?
There we go. Come down here, do a jazz session.
I got a bunch of ribbon mics. We can make it work.
Oh, yeah. That'd be dope.
Now serves as a band leader, sideman, composer, and mentor.
Very cool.
Dude.
Well, Davey, with another excellent recommendation.
That was 2 bangers in a row.
And he's got a long list, so I'm excited for the rest of them.
Okay.
All right. What is your record recommendation for this week, Jeremy?
Oh, crap.
You want me to go first?
Mine's, okay, let me preface this.
Uh-oh.
I have kids, okay? We're streaming movies. I'm teeny bopper stuff.
Yep. Bob the Builder theme song.
K-pop Demon Hunters.
K-pop Demon.
Have you guys seen it? I know. But
I am going to watch this. I just haven't gotten around to it yet.
okay, listen to how it's done first. Golden is the big track. How it's done.
Oh, I thought you meant literally like listen to how it is made.
Nope.
You know what I mean?
Nope.
Okay. I'm already into it.
I love K-pop.
Oh yeah, me too.
So let me drive for a second
Yep,
because I'm gonna take us on a little journey here.
Take the bus.
So try to get to a chorus. Banger.
Oh yeah.
This keep this one in your mind because I'm going to throw a curveball here.
Oh, turn into not what I expected. I just love how many layers are in all this K-pop stuff.
Okay, now we need to do. Oh, here it is.
Is this a cover?
It's this band, Our Last Night. They cover basically every Disney thing. Yeah. Here comes the chorus.
Oh yeah. Dude, that's cool.
Dude, the production in that movie, I did not want to like it, but my kids kept turning it on, and I just found myself like, whoa.
Yeah.
Like, it's so good.
I'm for sure gonna watch it.
It's one of those like get over yourself movies. Like you like, oh, it's so produced. Just shut up.
Yeah.
It's great.
Just enjoy it.
It's great.
Mine is we talked a little bit about August Burns Red in the last episode with their new EP.
Wasn't that was Devil Wears Prada?
You're so right. Got my wires crossed my brain. Those were similar eras for me of discovering that music.
ABR does not equal.
It does not. No.
I love ABR.
As do I. But I thought I'd do a throwback to
From Leveler.
yeah, and specifically for kind of. I'll go to this part. I don't know if I call it a breakdown or a bridge, but it put me back into this era of metal. Right here. Clean classical style guitar, breakdown / bridge in a heavy
Gosh,
song.
the amount of times I listened to this.
Dude. It's so good. This one came on my lifting playlist this morning, and I was like, I forgot this song. Yeah, bro.
Well,
So good.
Matt Griner's probably one of the cleanest drummers. Gainer? I don't know how to say it. I mean, all those dudes are just the musicianship and what they're doing. It might be a little cheesy nowadays, but like back in 2002, well, this came out later, but
Yeah, this was
like
11.
Composure was one of their first. Like that
Yeah.
wasn't the first. There was, but Backburner was an early one. I don't remember, but like they had a huge part in developing that like early metalcore sound.
I agree with you on the cheesiness of something like that, but I think when it's done right, it still slaps. Like if this song were to come out today,
Yeah.
I think it would still slap just as hard.
Mm.
But what was the other one that it was made famous on Guitar Hero 2? All That Remains. That's who it is. Did you ever listen to this back in the day?
Mm-hmm.
So this is like what I mean by taking me back to that era of metal where the clean guitar would come in.
Oh, dude.
I just love it.
Okay. One of the big. I know we're getting like a fourth one at this point. A Kill Switch Engage, The End of Heartache. This is probably one of the biggest payoffs. Yeah, it doesn't matter.
I listen to this song a lot.
It's like at the beginning of the song, you know exactly what it is. Like, best intro to a metal song. Wait for it. I love it. What is that, like 2002?
2004.
Okay.
Yeah. Gosh, man, we got to live through a really good era of music. Like there are so many eras of really good music, but that early 2000s stuff.
We're getting old.
Yeah.
Are you getting old? Hit the like button. If your back doesn't
That
hurt
song's
you.
vintage. That would belong on classic radio. As always, drop us some underground artists that you like in the comments. What's your take? Have you performed for a pay-to-play opportunity of some kind? What was your outcome like if you have done that? And what's your take on DIY or studio? Or maybe it's a hybrid situation. What do you guys prefer the most with your bands? Or maybe you're on the engineer side and you just don't want people to come to your studio anymore because you're tired of it. Who knows? Let us know. I don't know. You know.
What do you think about trying to be a promoter? Is that something you would even do? I find that interesting.
It is interesting.
I got his wheels turning. Okay, bye.
My wheel is turning?
Wheels?
Wheels?
Wheels. Pillow.